communications through the network of Indivisible groups and allied groups around the state, and some resources and a communication system that we're putting up to try to get the kind of response that you just heard called for. So one of the things that has always struck me about these groups is how much passion and commitment and people connection we bring. And that's what we want to try to do, is build on all of those to help move things forward, to help block bad things, help change the narrative as been described, and to build toward accountability in the elections. So that's what we're working toward. The other thing that has struck me about our groups is that we can learn from things that don't work very well. And that's what we're doing this year in terms of our system that we're setting up for communicating with the legislature. We had a system last year that was used some of the online tools that weren't that effective. They weren't that easy for people to get to. They weren't that easy to copy. So what we're doing this year is we're shifting to a blog-based system as the center point for our communications. So I want to acknowledge the folks with Indivisible District 4 that have helped move this forward. So what I mean when I say this, here's an overview of what we have. We have someone who's volunteered to do legislative tracking, and we'll be doing coordinated legislative tracking with other folks. Information for calls to action will come into a central email address from a bunch of sources. I'll say a little bit more about that. We'll have an identified group to monitor that inbox and post calls to action on bills that are significant to us and our groups using a blog. Then we'll have people designated in all of your groups to go to that blog site, to subscribe to that blog site so they get updates. Go to that blog site and pick up the calls to action and then share them out. Okay? So that's the overview of the system. So the posts and calls to action, we expect them to receive those from legislators, staffers, the House Senate Caucus Communication Team, nonprofit partners, and there's a whole list of those. So we'll be subscribing to all those. And that will be coming into the inbox. I said there'll be someone who will be monitoring that email address and getting the information to carry it forward. So this is where the first place where y'all come in, because we need to identify a core group of people to do that work. And there's a couple of different ways it can be divided up and sequenced, but we're looking for people who want to be responsible for specific issue areas. And so that they can then carry that information forward, put together the calls to action, and post them on the blog. And I understand that it's very simple to do, and this is someone who has not done this before, but it sounds workable for me. The other thing I want to acknowledge is that everyone will not necessarily agree on everything that gets posted. Casino gambling has come up a couple times. I have really strong feelings about that, and I could tell from some of the reaction in the room that people do. I bet there's people that have strong feelings on the other side of that too. So we just have to acknowledge that and know that people are going to act where they agree. And so I think that's one of the ways that we'll handle that. Let's see. Okay, so we have calls to action posted by this core group. Those calls, each post will have its own hyperlink so that you can just pick that link up, share it on your Facebook page, and there will be icons at the bottom where you can easily click to share that information on Twitter or Facebook, and then we'll be adding some of the other social media outlets for that too. So that leads us to the next place where you come in, which is having a person or people in your group designated to subscribe to that blog. When there's an update, when something's posted, go to the site, pick up the information, share it with your group, and encourage people in your group to share it on their social media as well. Last place where you can come in is whether you're doing that or not, you can subscribe to the blog, so you'll get that information directly. And then the final piece about the blog is that there's a sidebar with state resources, with contact information and and other resources that's being updated right now, but we're building that, so there's that, and then there's a set of national resources as well. And this site's open, so people can go to it and see it, okay? So, that all sounds great, right?
Yes.
So, yeah, you need some specific information to pull any of this off, and that information is posted on the door next to Martha White. So you can take a picture of that as you go out. That's task number one for everyone here. Take a picture of that information as you go out. If you are interested in being in that core group that monitors the inbox, picks up the information and posts them, write your name down on that yellow piece of paper. If you know the people in your group that you think, oh yeah, this is the obvious person to be the one to subscribe to the blog, pick up the call to action and share it out, put their name down on that piece of paper. And that will help us build this activity going forward. I see some people already being volunteered.
Yeah.
And I got a couple more things to say, but I'm going to stop and see if there's any questions or thoughts or additions on that.
So soon we can just email you when we designate our new person to be the.
Yes. Oh, and thank you. That reminds me. What I didn't say is on that yellow piece of paper, there is also the dedicated email address, which I have here somewhere in my notes. And IGC advocates. Anyways, that's on that piece of paper, so send your volunteers to that address as well. Any other questions or thoughts on that? Yeah.
Love it.
All right, so the last point then is, again, to circle back where I started, why we're doing this. We want to affect what happens in the General Assembly. We want to affect the narrative. We want to accomplish much of what we were just called to do. And we want to build toward accountability in elections.
Yes, yes.
So keep that in mind as we're doing this, as we're sharing information, as putting it out. One of the ways we can also take action now to start building toward accountability in elections is to be talking to voters. We don't necessarily have candidates we're going to be talking to them about, but we have issues they care about. We have issues we care about, and we have information that may be useful to them. So a handout was passed around. There maybe some folks didn't get it. I got one more copy here when I'm done using it that I can get to y'all.
It's on the door.
I'm sorry?
A copy's on the door.
Oh, that's right. There's a copy on the door so you can take a picture of it. This is about a distributed canvassing program with Indivisible Georgia Coalition, basically starting pretty soon as you want to start. And so the idea is there are some C4s who will support us in getting voter information. So that you can use Minivan, which is an app on your phone that gives you immediate access to voter information wherever you are, and then you can start going door to door and talking to people. It could be your neighbors, it could be other parts of town where you're interested in trying to promote greater voter turnout. And the idea will be to give them information about upcoming elections, the census, talk to them about census and the importance of that. Check on voter registration status, be able to either show that they're registered or show that they need to take action to be registered. And then talk to them about specific issues that are important to them. One of the things that came up here was Representative Dr. Clark's consumer advocacy bill. That's a really good access point to say, your electric bills are going up. And they're going up because the Public Service Commission didn't listen to people. And the way folks are translating this is, what is your vote worth to Georgia Power? Well, it's the amount that your bill is going up. And that's $27 to $30-some. Sorry, $17 to $25 per month. So that's the kind of thing we're talking about doing through this distributed canvassing program. So you've got a handout, take a picture on that, and this handout tells you how to get involved in that, how you can get the information for your group to participate in this distributed canvassing. So, I think that was everything that I wanted to cover.
Gail?
Yeah.
I want to apologize because I feel like I just got lost.
Uh-huh.
So, let's find out what concerns our neighbors have and let's share information about. So I missed the piece that connects me to that.
About how you get to do it?
Yeah.
Okay, so at the bottom.
So I apologize.
No, well, not a long day, but this has been very rich, right? If you think about from an information standpoint, this has been really rich. Brains are full, I know mine is full. I'm impressed I've gotten this far. So I thought on this piece of paper, yeah, okay, see where it says how? Under how it says send an email to indivisiblegeorgia04@gmail.com to opt in. So that's how you connect with them. It was a good question, thank you. So, keeping in mind that we're doing this to build accountability in elections, a couple folks wanted to talk about 2 issues in particular, and that's our last task for the day, so we're getting close. But I'm going to hand the mic off to Martha and then to Pat.
Thank you for your patience and for being such good audiences here today, and for all of the work that you do throughout the year. There's so much going on, and so part of our goal here today is to help find some focus in what we're doing so that we aren't completely worn out at the end of the session. But we can't wait until the end of the session to hold these elected officials accountable. And accountability is a thing that you're going to hear from us over and over and over again this year. It is what we're here for. That is what Indivisible does. So just to reiterate, be sure that you are sharing information with people in your groups. Make sure that if you have a Facebook or Twitter account, that you're sharing that information out. Talk to your neighbors. Don't just don't just think that it's only people in my group. Talk to your neighbors, talk to people at your church, at other civic organizations that you may belong to. Make sure that they know. I am one of the people who have been working on the Medicaid waiver issue, and that period for commenting on the Federal Register is now open, and it will be open through February 7th. I will be sending out information on that over the weekend. If you have not given us your email address and you think we may not have it, please sign up in the back so that you're sure to get all of the materials that we have today. You can take a picture of that, but I also will be sending out files, so you'll have those tangible things. Yes?
Registered, do you have our address?
Yes. If you've already filled out the form, then just make sure that you're on the list. What happened during the Georgia comment period is that we had 1,100 comments, which is pretty amazing given that it was the holidays, which may have been on purpose that they opened it during the holidays. Also, but what we managed to do with all of those comments is that they did have to respond to those. And so we were able to push the federal comment period forward a week, which makes all the difference because now we're out of the holidays, right? So that's one of the things that we did. Now, they don't have to submit all of our comments on the Georgia Register to the federal one. They sent a synopsis. So that's why we only got a few little changes in that bill, and I will send out more information. Georgia Policy and Budget Institute is writing up a synopsis of what we won with that. So I'll get that all out to you. But on Monday, we're going to do a big social media push, and if you will please go to the blog and also to the Indivisible Georgia Facebook page, Coalition Facebook page, and you can pick up those posts in either of those places. That will go out. They'll be up early Monday morning. Please tweet those, share them, make sure that everybody you know sees them. Occasionally go back to that post and bump it up so that it comes up in the algorithms and so that it stays live throughout the day. We want to see a lot of exposure for that. And this is for the Medicare waiver. The second waiver that was put forth was on creating the Georgia Healthcare Exchange. that comment period will open in February. So we'll do this again in February. So I'm really grateful for that, because this way we can focus on one comment period at a time. And people aren't confused, because it's just so much information. And so that's coming up. We also will be, on this canvassing that we're doing, we may have some handouts that you can give out if you're going out during the month of January. Please let us know if that's what you're going to be doing. We will also be texting into higher, like 5+ Democratic voters, and making sure that they know about this so that they can make comments and share it with their friends and neighbors and family. So this is going to be a very robust campaign, and one that we have been wanting to do for a long time. So just quickly on absentee ballots, there's a form back there that has been annotated by Liz and Margaret, and thank you very much. That was painstaking work. That will be on the Indivisible Georgia Forward website. We'll put it up on various social media. We'll put it on the blog. You can begin to ask people to get their absentee ballots. On the door as well that you can take a picture of is information about getting your absentee ballot and how you can do that. So I think I'm going to stop there and let Pat come up and talk about redistricting.
Sally held those little democracy pledge cards. If you haven't signed one yet, we appreciate your signing it. If you could do it today and just let me have it, that would be great. If you wanted to take some of these and share them with other people, please do. Then get in touch with me and we'll figure out how to get them back to me so we can get them. The best address would be pat@fairdistrictsgeorgia.org, and we can work out the details. Yes.
Pat, what are they used for?
What we're going to do with these is we've been collecting these in a joint effort with ACLU Georgia. We've had thousands of them turned in. We're creating a database from them so that as time goes along, we can say to legislators, we have 15, 20, 25 people in your district who've signed the pledge card and are way behind these unions. So it's a way it works in two directions. One is it gets the person who reads the card and signs it to have more information about what's going on. So it's a voter education activity. The other is to get a whole bunch of people from around the state so that we can reach outside the metro area to have information to the legislators. Part of what Fair Districts Georgia is doing, one more thing, is there's a flyer in the back. For our lobby days this year, we're having two, one in January, one in February. If you've done lobby days before, we want to assure you that ours is going to be somewhat different. Somewhat different. We'll start with really good coffee and homemade bread. And we will have a training then to help us all get prepared for what we're going to do, and then go and spend about an hour on the road line and see as many people as we can. But you know, if you've done it before, it's very confusing and it's tiring to stand up and wait. So about 1 hour of that activity. Then we will have packets of information to carry to the offices of the legislators. And that'll give you a chance to go find out what their offices are, meet some of the staffers, and if you're lucky, the legislator might be there and you can give them the information and say hello. So what we're going to do, and then the other part that's missing and that was distressing in the past was there was no feedback. You do your thing, and then if the legislator told you something that people needed to know, there was no way really to share it. So we're going to have, after we've done the packets, we're going to get back together and have a debrief. So we'll have a chance to say, this is what went well, this is what went wrong, this is what this guy told me. And we'll get those things so we can use them in other advocacy activities. We'd love to have you come with us. It's gonna be a hard day, they take a lot of energy, but we think that there's a good way to get some information to the legislators. If your group would be interested in doing supporting postcarding, we're also having groups do postcards and some telephoning in association with our dates. And those postcards are coming, the group in Athens is doing postcarding, we're getting postcarding out of Dahlonega, the Union group is going to be doing, the AA Union group is going to be doing some, and a group in Augusta will be doing some too. So cards from around the state. We're hoping for a group in Savannah will also join that postcarding and telephoning activity. So a lot of information flooding into the legislators' offices around the longer days. I look forward to working with you, and if you have any ideas, questions, let me know. Thank you very much.